It's 10 p.m. in Banjul, and this is GRTS News, broadcasting for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. Our top stories this hour. His Excellency President Adama Barrow received the UNDP Director for Africa on the sidelines of the ATICA conference in Tunisia. A fresh crackdown on illegal timber dealers lands a major lumber trafficking network into the police net as authorities move to enforce the ban on timber trading.
Climate Change and Natural Resources Ministry.
Well, the United Arab Emirates detained 34 Gambians at an immigration camp in Dubai for residing in the country without documentation. And a new focus on military agriculture conveys 2 water pumping machines to soldiers of the 3rd Infantry Battalion cultivating a massive rice production in Sutuma Samba. In sports, Team Kaba wins a fresh mandate as football delegates elect Lamin Kaba Bajo for another 4 years to steer the affairs of the Gambia Football Federation. Away from home, the death toll from Pakistan floods tops 1,000 as heavy monsoon rains continue in one of the worst flooding in the South Asian country. Plus, a Rwandan woman faces up to 2 years in jail for indecent dressing in public. Well, that's the top of the news and much more coming ahead with me, Rohibite. Thanks for joining us. It's great to have you here. We begin this bulletin with the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, who received in audience the UNDP Director of the Regional Bureau for Africa, Ahuanasia Kongwa, at his hotel. The UNDP Regional Bureau Chief commended government governance track record for what he called the constellation of democracy in the Gambia. Mamadou Diallo reports.
UNDP Regional Director for Africa, Ahuna Isian Kowa, called on the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, as the 8th TICAD summit wraps up in Tunis. After more than an hour of talks behind closed doors, the UNDP Regional Bureau Chief described the talks as fruitful.
I think it's important to know that this platform of TICAD is useful for Africa, particularly in bringing private sector interest from Japan in Africa. So Gambia also had the opportunity here to meet several private business organizations. We also talked about the situation in the country, the impact of COVID-19 on the country, the impact of climate change. You just had floods in the country and the whole impact of the conflict in Ukraine and how Gambia's economy has to adapt to all this new situation. We looked at some of the opportunities to grow the economy, but also to work in the area of social development, supporting vulnerable populations to get better livelihood opportunities and to build their resilience.
She also commended government for its governance track record, particularly its commitment to democracy and inclusion.
Fact that the governance situation in the country is much better and getting stronger in the area of the elections that were held and were deemed quite fair, and the fact that the consolidation of democracy is taking root. We noted that governance is very important, good governance, issues around justice, having good justice systems so that people feel that they are included and that their interests are served, and how this is also good for investment. We talked about the need to bring in private sector investment in the different sectors.
Mrs. Eziankoa said the UNDP will continue to monitor and document the commitments made in the joint declaration between Japan and Africa, and also partner with the private sector to support Africa's development. Mamadou Diallo, GRTS News.
A fresh clampdown on the illegal timber trade has landed a new lumber trafficking network into the police net as authorities move to enforce the ban on timber trading to protect the country's natural forests. A number of fully loaded containers of timber were recently seized by police during a smuggling operation in the Greater Banjul area. And now several people are facing law enforcement and environmental officials who rejected the illegal timber traffickers on time to stop them before the delivery reached the port. Usman Mane tells us more.
Countries. We visited about 3 landing sites of these illegal timbers, and well, it's disappointing to see that still now people are active into this. Again, as a government, on the leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow, we are very prepared to face the challenges ahead of us. We are planning to have a ban that will be very detailed and all-inclusive in nature. And I seek the general public to support us, because the environment is our business together, and we cannot just leave few people to destroy our future based on their personal interests. We say no to that.
These reactions came following her familiarization visit across the country since appointment as new Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources Minister. On June 29, Cabinet chaired by His Excellency President Adama Barrow, backed by Section 113 of the Forest Act 2018, issued a new regulation banning timber trade. The regulation includes permanent revocation of all existing permits issued for the export and re-export of timber, the felling and import of local species, Keno, Cordilla africana, known as Wulakonoduto, Ndimba, or wild mango. The regulation also says that timber for domestic use could be transported within the country, provided the carrier have authentic permits for household use duly issued by the Department of Forestry. The police were instructed to carry out random search of containers headed for the port of Banjul for suspected illicit timber. Implementing these orders, the ministry, in collaboration with the police force, impounded these containers around Joshua Cemetery in KMC.
We got a tip-off also that there are containers around that are allegedly having some timber in. So the securities were alerted, and then they were here for the last 2 days up to today, and then luckily we are able to find out that the timber is inside the containers. As you know also, these are things that are the laws of the country. The country have rules and regulations, and the rules and regulations have to be respected.
With the implementation of Operation No Illegal Logging, offenders of these regulations are still at large since Friday.
This morning I was here also, early in the morning, trying to see who are the owners of these vehicles, but we could not see anybody. And then there is no driver, there is no even respectfully an apprentice, taking care of the vehicle. So at the moment we cannot tell you who owns it, but as much as we impound the vehicles and then the containers, we're looking forward to getting them.
Since the ban has come into effect, the port authorities have been instructed to refuse to load timber logs on any vessel, and both GPA and GRA are equally instructed to scan containers for export. Owners of these containers and businesses are expected to receive punches from authorities according to law.
And the law of the country applies to everybody, and everybody has to respect the law. But we cannot be in a country whereby laws are, initiated and then, approved, and everybody knows these are the laws, and then you have few people who are breaking the laws. So if you break the law, you will be consumed by the law.
In 2020, a BBC investigation revealed that vast quantities of protected West African rosewood were being trafficked through the country from Senegal, much of which ends up in China, where it is used to make furniture. Rosewood has been listed as an endangered species since 2017, and in June, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species sites called on 7 countries, including the Gambia, to suspend its trade. Now, with the ban on timber, authorities appeal to the general public to report any suspected activity surrounding our forest cover, in particular timber trade. Usman Mane, GRTS.
And now the Rice Value Chain Transformation Project handed over 2 portable water pumping machines to the 3rd Infantry Battalion in Basse on Friday as the Gambia Armed Forces intensifies a committed agricultural venture with a massive paddy rice production at Jimara Sutuma Samba. Our URR correspondent Seydou Camara tells us more.
3rd Infantry Battalion in Basse received 2 portable water pumping machines from the Rice Value Chain Transformation Project to supply water into rice paddy fields at Sotima Samba. According to the regional coordinator of the Rice Value Chain Transformation Project in URR and Sumana Sise, the development came after a request made by the soldiers tending a massive rice cultivation. The provision of this water pumping machine will greatly assist soldiers to enhance rice production.
As a need, they requested support to enhance access to water. In that response, the Rice Value Chain Transformation Project took it up as an urgent issue and provided 2 portable water pumping machines to enhance production.
The farm manager of the 3rd Infantry Battalion, Warrant Officer 2 Yankuba Koli, held officials of the Rice Value Chain Transformation Project for supporting them with these important machines to address challenges faced in accessing water for their rice field. Mr. Colley said food security is a fundamental component and they are ready to contribute their quota to the attainment of food self-sufficiency for the country.
As security officers, a hungry security man cannot be a security officer. If you want to have a strong armed forces, you have to be food secure. And I think the best form of security is to be stomach secured. If your stomach is full, I hope you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. This achievement was all backed by Rice Value Chain Transformation Project, of which, without them, I know we will not achieve what we are celebrating today.
Speaking on behalf of the director of the Rice Value Chain Transformation Project, social developer Ibrahim Sise acknowledged the program's role in boosting the production capacity of soldiers.
Besides the capability to secure the country, the army also has a huge capability to produce food for this country. This is evident by the activities that we are done during the Vision 2016. So we are calling for more involvement of the army and more support to the army to produce food.
The 3rd Infantry Battalion Camp Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Sayu Jaju, expressed gratitude to the project officials for the timely intervention, hailing the Commander-in-Chief, His Excellency President Adama Barrow, for taking his time to visit their rice field during his vacation retreat.
We are very much pleased with your assistance. And I can assure you that the whole armed forces, particularly at the High Command there, they are fully aware of all the supports that you are giving, that you are rendering. Ranging from that, I have already mentioned before. See, the commander, the CDS, they are all aware. We are security officers, but also we want to extend this security to food self-sufficiency. All right? Whenever we can sustain ourselves in food, I think the whole country is safe. So if supported, I think we want to have it in both seasons, both rainy and during the dry season.
Equipped with portable water pumping machine, the men and women in uniform and farmers toiling in this rice field are hoping the challenges of water supply will be adequately addressed. Seydou Camara, reporting for GRTS News from Basse Upper River Region.
The National Steering Committee of the Roots Project, led by Fatou Jammeh Toure and agriculture officials, are on a week-long tour of project sites. The delegation had meetings with the communities of Yalal and Kanuma in the North Bank region. Our North Bank region correspondent, Farmer Kanyi, was with the delegation and now tells us more.
In the Gambia, rainy season vegetable production is not a common agricultural practice. Well, in the community of Yalal Tankonjala, a vegetable garden is thriving and the new crops are directly dependent on the rains for growth and survival.
Why is Roots pushing this? It's for 2 reasons. We want beneficiaries to realize the returns from the gardens as soon as possible. And that is why we embarked on rainy season vegetable cultivation. So the second reason why we are doing rainy season is to learn about the dynamics of the garden, the dynamics of the people that are involved in the cultivation, so that if there are any issues to be attended to, we will be well prepared for the dry season. So these are the two reasons why we decided to embark on rainy season cultivation.
The National Steering Committee of the Roots Project, led by Fatou Jammeh Toure, the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, have concluded a week-long monitoring exercise across all intervention sites of the Roots Project in the country. A stop in Yalal witnessed an interface which allowed both parties to pinpoint some critical areas in ensuring the smooth implementation of the project objectives. Jenaba Sidibe, a farmer in Yalal, directed much of her attention to the youths as she called on them to partake in agriculture and farming, citing the numerous economic benefits attached to the sector. Speaking to GRTS, Mahmoud Jang, the project director of Roots, said marketing remains a major challenge to farmers. With this new intervention, a ready market is already available.
We have a major exporter of okra in this country who we spoke to see whether they can absorb any okra produced from the Roots gardens or the gardens supported by Roots. And it appears they have more capacity than we can produce at the moment. So we have an agreement, I would say a gentleman's agreement, that farm will be able to buy the okra from our beneficiary gardens. So yes, what is produced in the gardens is already linked to the marketing opportunities that are available.
The project also seeks to transform the outlook of farming in the country to attract more youths into the sector.
They should take up the mantle now. For me, I don't even call them future leaders because some of them are already in the system. So they are present leaders. They've started feeling the pinch of underdevelopment. So they should stand up, tighten their belts and work towards the development of this country. And they should venture into all sectors where the opportunities are given to them. They should grab it, especially in the agricultural sector.
The Yalal and Kanuma Gardens will pave the way in the promotion of a year-round vegetable production, a practice not so common in the Gambia. For the news, I am Famara Kani.
Now, today's press dispatch from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, which wishes to inform the general public that it has received information on 34 Gambian nationals currently detained at an immigration detention camp in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, for residing in the country without proper documentation. The Gambian embassy in Abu Dhabi is collaborating with the Emirati authorities on the matter, and the public is further assured of the Gambia government's full support towards ending this menace. The Girls' Agenda premiered the first cartoon on FGM in the Gambia amid a fresh campaign to end harmful practices affecting girls and women. A Long Day is an animated video produced by Rebel Vision, which seeks to address FGM and present an avenue for children to play a central role in eliminating the practice. The premiere of the animated video was graced by the UN and EU officials, students, and various civil society representatives. Matilda Koma, the coordinator of the Girls' Agenda, spoke to GRTS shortly after the opening debut, A Long Day. Let's take a listen.
With support from Amplify Change, is premiering the first ever FGM cartoon animated film, dubbed A Long Day in the Gambia. Over the years, Amplify Change has supported the work of Girls' Agenda through different platforms. We've hosted empowerment camps, training of religious leaders, training of traditional communicators, and even produced radio and video productions with regards to ending FGM. This cartoon for children is made to be aired in different TV stations, and we're anticipating that we're going to get it out to every home in the Gambia, where parents can watch it together with their children to know the harmful effects of female genital mutilation and pioneer the next empowered generation of young women who are going to lead the change in stopping the practice in the Gambia. Even though there is a law banning FGM in the Gambia, we still have issues of secret practice happening, cross-border engagement on FGM. And we believe this cartoon is going to talk about these issues, address them, and change the minds and perception of people towards female genital mutilation. Let's work together to end a practice that has no health benefit on women and girls in the Gambia. It is our collective responsibility.
The Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology has developed a new information system to collect and store data for higher education. The MS scheme is a well-timed initiative and breakthrough for the ministry funded by the Korea International Cooperation Agency and UNESCO. Aminata Sanyang tells us more.
Developed to promote accessibility to data, the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology pioneered the development of an education management information system. Developed through a partnership with UNESCO, Quaker and Insys Global, the information system is a great achievement for the ministry.
These are the type of programs you should do when you go to the institutions. But at the same time, are those programs run in the institutions, and to what level? So this is what the data we are talking about is all about. So it is that important. So that is why from the very beginning, this ministry has been struggling very hard, to establish a data system. We tried our hand with, some Microsoft, systems, and they work not the way we wanted it. So we got to a point, there was this very big void, this very big gap, in data. UNESCO request for data, it is not available because even when you go to the institutions, the type of data you collect from these institutions, if you come back and start analyzing it, you realize that so much is missing.
The project, according to officials, will encourage systematic analysis of data on a timely basis, especially on TVET.
Without data, we guess. We do guesswork, and we have done that as a country for many years, especially in the area of TVET. So this system is web-based, as I said earlier on, is web-based, which means that it allows people to enter data on the go. It means that we can have up-to-date data on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, on a yearly basis.
IMIS is a sophisticated system accessible for schools to upload data and provide an easy route for Mohas to have access to information.
We are conscious that if the system has to be used, there would be a policy that is going to be put in place to ensure that institutions are able to use and operate the online system, be able to feed in their data. I know there has been this underscored challenge that the system was not, during the field visit by the consultant, the system is not in use. It's premised on one fact, that until now, we have been importing data from the respective institutions. So starting coming year, all institutions will be providing data live from their own points wherever they are.
The Education Management Information System will help strengthen data collection, an opportunity for the ministry to have strategic approaches in addressing the higher education challenges. Aminata Sanyang, GRTS.
The southern town of Sanyang inaugurated a new police station in the coastal settlement on Friday. The new police station, funded by top businessman Abubakar Jawara, replaces the town's old police bureau, which was vandalized by rioting youths in March this year. The new police bureau, as MS Jallo tells us, comes with additional space to accommodate other sister forces.
This is the new Sanyang police station, replacing the old bureau vandalized during a riot which rocked the coastal village nearly 1.5 years ago. On March 15, 2001, angry youths in the community took to the streets to protest the death of their colleague, and in the process burned down the police station. Few weeks after the incident, top Gambian businessman Abubakar Jawara visited the scene and, shocked by what he saw, promised to rebuild the police bureau. After several months of works, the new complex is now being inaugurated and handed over to the Gambia Police Force at a colorful ceremony attended by Dr. Jawara, a cross-section of the community, cabinet ministers, and senior police officers.
A police station is a security place, and when it is threatened, then the people are equally at risk because it serves security center for its peoples. I deem it very necessary to play my part in helping to bring back the life of the police station.
The new police station cost the GAD Global CEO over $2.8 million as Abubakar Jawara adds a new beacon to the raft of interventions supporting advances in various sectors.
Reconstructing this station was a heavy project, but it was worth it because the country needs security, places to safeguard the citizens and protect their rights. It is a $2.8 million project, which I willingly and humbly sponsored as a contribution for the betterment of my own country.
The people of Sanyang commended Dr. Jawara for swiftly responding to their appeal to reconstruct the station following the unfortunate incident that destroyed the vital security complex. The new station, with added space to accommodate other sister forces, will be elevated to a hybrid police station, according to Pate Jallo, the West Coast Police Commissioner, who deputized for the Inspector General of Police.
The station here today is going to be an hybrid station. Hybrid in a sense, it is going to be a PIU station that would be definitely doing both the general duty work and that of the PIU work. The police are improving their infrastructural facilities to ensure efficient and effective service delivery to the community. Today we are here excited to inaugurate the police station to enhance the efforts of the Gambia Police Force by providing security and to protect the community of Sanyang and its satellite villages.
Commissioner Jallo pointed out the strategic location of the Sanyang Police Bureau and its importance to the security of the area, advising the community to desist from anything that will jeopardize the town's peace and security.
I therefore urge the community of Sanyang and its surroundings to cooperate and support the police to provide and render the effective and efficient service delivery to the community. I equally caution the youths of Sanyang, generally, not to be used for any insecurity aspect.
Interior Minister underscored the importance of the police in the maintenance of peace and stability, urging the people of Sanyang to support the servicemen and women in the execution of their duties.
There has been a police station in Sanyang ever since, but this newly built police station to best serve the population of Sanyang and the surrounding communities is a very unique one. Unique in the sense that it's now a thoroughly modern police station, well equipped with good facilities and well staffed with dedicated and determined police officers. It is a fine example of the government-private sector community resolve to do everything possible to make the Gambia a safe and peaceful place for all.
The Minister of Agriculture, who represented President Barrow, commended Abubakar Jawara for his selfless strides in complementing the government. Dr. Sabali called on the community of Sanyang to take ownership of the station. The ceremonial ribbon cutting was followed by a tour of the facility, the second police station built by the famous businessman and philanthropist. Modest Jallo, GRS News.
With that, we take our first break and return in a moment. Do stay.
COVID-19 ka jegnayo nda a jega ɗataka andoona o xuttapuna waaga o muc fu ɓaslof o ten refe pour o janga pengu COVID-19 pengu neek a woora to a jega o njiriñ a waagango mucil bo jegkiro jirleek COVID-19 pengu neek aje ganu lopitan ki ndef na saxle fop to mete refna o leng David Kiran mete refna Gambia ndiki saxle jenga a façon ngata daka pengu o ten ref Johnson and Johnson Pfizer Sinopharm to dena fop cala lenk rek ambiya o ten ref pour de muclong nu jir lek ando ten ref COVID-19 baro lega habong baro jir wala sax te warong ke ref na xene nen Gambia Ministry of Health o ten ref fop anjang apengu nek jege goro de jege o maak ke xottuna we jegna qid xar ba hay fudik ba are tok la hadi habay faqe ba den ngol fu safu o ten ref ñoqe andone ten moji yob amoñu ñof pour te muclong nu COVID-19 la hadori fu safu waxtu nu terefna surtout o fadangan binof wala o jalandof baro codo lenga bay waxtu fu okoto xona wala o tisoli wala sax bala o ñama la hadi habay faqe ba den ngol fu safu wala sax o jang alcohol based hand rub kek fop pour o wago mucc nu COVID-19 waxtu fu terefna imbota a place ke indona haɓa inake comme a tableau ke def nanu pawke wala na calanake imbota den fu chlorine wala alcohol solution. Ministry of Health te bari mba saɓay in muk nu COVID-19 a kida ɗake passé na fop a wenjema pour de mbañ limna anone den jegu COVID-19 nu saxe ken taxu ina fop faf i ngenoox i saɗakinoox na ñoqe anone in we ñoxoran fu COVID-19 we atanon xibar nek den ndef Ministry of Health for the Gambia Country Coordinating Mechanism fundimal ne anone xe inoxa Global Fund we anone den na ñoxora fu AIDS TB wala malaria oxu bugna antenne ka xoolna waga o call it 1025.
Welcome back. Sports now, and to moments of election glory for Team Kaba as it clinched a fresh mandate, trumping Team Restore confidence in the GFF presidential elections. Football delegates handed Lamin Kaba Bajo another 4 years to steer the affairs of the Gambia Football Federation on Saturday, August 27. 77 delegates participated in the vote as incumbent Kaba Bajo scooped the polls with 51 votes. His opponent in the race, Kamasu, secured 25 votes in a major flop of his bid to unseat the three-time GFF president.
Thank you all for voting massively in approving this very important milestone amendment of our Constitution. I'm very proud of passing today, at least in 4 years' time when I hand over. And in fact, I'm looking forward, before the end of this current term, to increase yet again the number of female representatives in the executive. It's still very small. We also attempted and succeeded in securing some support from some of our bilateral partners in terms of our sister football federations. We have submitted to the Saudi Arabia Football Federation a request of support to build a mini stadium in the URR, precisely in Yakoi. And I'm happy to announce that we have obtained approval from the Saudi Football Federation to support us in that endeavor to the tune of $200,000 US, which is almost 50% of the total. And I can also happily announce that similar approach was made to the Royal Football Federation of Morocco, and they have also happily granted approval to support us in implementing a similar project in Bansang in the CRR. And now on this note, before we part, as a requirement, I want to call on my colleagues who are in the other camp, Team Kamaso or Team Restore Confidence, that I believe, we believe, that we all have the same objective of development football in this country. They are not saying, all they want, I expect, is that they think they could do it better than us. That's why they vie for the offices. But the stakeholders have spoken, and I'm extending an olive branch to them so that we reconcile our differences if there are any. But I can assure you, for me as Kaba, I don't have any beef with anybody, and he also that. And I have nobody in my colleagues who will have it. Let's reconcile our differences and come back in the name of unity so that we can continue the development of football in this country until the next 4 years. I thank you.
That's Kaba Bajo, the newly elected president of the Gambia Football Federation, there addressing electorate shortly after his victory. Well, we'll be right back with internationals right after this break.
COVID-19 lu am la waaye am na ay sarta yoo xam ne soo ko toppee mun ngaa mucca yaag sa njaboot mooy nga ñakku COVID-19 bii óor na te am na njëriñ mun na laa aar ba doo feebar ñakku COVID-19 bii am na ci bépp health facility ci réewi Gambia ñakku bii kenn du ko fay fi mu nekk nii réew mi am na ñetti façon ngi ñakku muy Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer ak Sinopharm ñoom ñépp benn liggéey la ñoo def mooy aar la ci COVID-19 infection buñ la wàlla bul feebar wala muy laa rey lii mébéti di Gambia Ministry of Health mooy pour ñakku ñépp mag ak ndaw ba ci ñi am fukki at ak ñaar jëm kaw raxasam loxo bem set ni mu waree ak saabu mooy xeex bi gën a yomba gën a gaaw ci muslu ci COVID-19 di raxasu ak saabu waxtu bu nekk surtout soo eggee sa kër wala sa bérébi liggéeykaay bul jox kenn loxo saa yoo saxatee wala nga tisooli ak it balaa ngaa sax ñam raxasul ba set ak ndox ak saabu wala nga jëfandikoo alcohol based hand rub lii yépp pour muslu ci COVID-19 la te ñuy fompa waxtu bu nekk rek béréb yii ñoo teg loxo niki suñ taabuli waañ yi wala taabuli liggéeyukaay yi di ko fompee ak chlorine wala alcohol solution Ministry of Health ne buñ naagu mukk ci COVID-19 depuis ñaari at ci gannaaw jéem nañ bu baax ba wàññi lim bu takku bii amoon ci COVID-19 li lee tax dañ war a booloo ànd xeex COVID-19 ndax nag kenn muccut nañ leen xeex ba ñépp mucca xibaar bi ñi leen ko doon indil di waa Ministry of Health ak di Gambia Country Coordinating Mechanism ak ndimbal bu bàyyeekoo ci Global Fund ñii di xeex AIDS TB ak malaria pour xam ci lu gën a leer mun ngeen a call 1025.
Welcome back. Officials in Pakistan say flash floods across much of the country have killed over 1,000 people and displaced thousands more since mid-June. The newest fatalities are primarily being reported in the northwest and down in southern Sindh province, weeks after unrelenting monsoon rains have affected more than 30 million people and have wreaked havoc on vital infrastructure. A national emergency is in force and Prime Minister Sabab Sharif is appealing to the international community for help.
They built their home with their own hands. Now, these two brothers are clearing up what remains of it.
I built this house with a lot of hard work, and now it's all gone. There's floodwater everywhere, and there's no job for me. I'll have to ask the government for help rebuilding the house. Otherwise, I have no hope.
I worked day and night to build this home. I sacrificed my sleep for it. We took out a loan that we haven't yet paid off.
The government is promising financial aid for the families forced to leave their homes. But it's a mammoth task. The authorities say more than 30 million people are affected.
My neighbors' children were swept away by the floods. We've all suffered great losses. The water is 3 to 6 meters high.
Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif inspected the damage in some of the worst-hit areas and dropped relief packages for people. His government is calling it a humanitarian disaster caused by climate change. But opponents say corruption and poor planning have made a bad situation worse.
Well, in Rwanda, a woman is facing up to 2 years in jail for what authorities call indecent dressing. Lilian Mugabesaki was arrested in early August after a photo of her wearing a transparent dress in public went viral. Police held her for 12 days until she was granted bail. Her court hearing is expected soon.
The dress Lilian Mugabe Kazi wore to a concert in Rwanda's capital, Kigali. After this photo went viral, she was accused of shameful dressing and arrested. Now the 24-year-old has been charged with public indecency and could face prison, sparking a debate on social media and across Rwanda.
I can't say she was unfairly arrested. I followed Lilianne's issue. She was wearing a transparent garment and a short coat. Those are clothes that make men sexually aroused, awakening Satan.
That is not nudity. Nudity for me is when there is no garment whatsoever on your body. Imagine someone left her home feeling well dressed in that outfit, but you decide to attack her simply because you have failed to control your sexual desires.
But other Rwandan women are not impressed with Mugabe Kazi's choice of outfit.
As a Rwandan woman who understands Rwandan values of respecting oneself and others, I would say that the dress wasn't respectable.
Public indecency is a crime punishable by up to 2 years in jail, but there's confusion over what it actually means.
The law itself doesn't define what is public indecency. So that means it's subject to interpretation. While a penal law, a good one, should not be for interpretation. It should be precise, clear to everyone.
The case is also causing concern over what it could mean for Rwanda's fashion and entertainment industries, and even for women who wear miniskirts when they go out. Liliane Mugabe Kazi, meanwhile, is out on bail, waiting for a court to decide if she'll be sent to jail for her choice of outfit.
While you're watching us live from Banjul, this is JRT's News. A quick look at our top stories once again. His Excellency President Adama Barrow received the UNDP Director for Africa on the sidelines of the 8th Sika Conference in Tunisia. A fresh crackdown on illegal timber dealers has landed a major lumber trafficking network into police net as authorities move to enforce the ban on timber trading. The Foreign Affairs Ministry confirms 34 Gambians are being detained at an immigration camp in Dubai for residing in the United Arab Emirates without documentation. And a new focus on military agriculture convey 2 water pumping machines to soldiers of the 3rd Infantry Battalion cultivating a massive rice production in Sutumasamba, courtesy of the Rice Value Chain Transformation Project. In sport, Team Kaba won a major fresh mandate as football delegates handed Lamin Kaba Bajo another 4 years to steer the affairs of the Gambia Football Federation. And away from home, the death toll from Pakistan floods has topped 1,000 as heavy monsoon rains continued amid the worst flooding in the South Asian country. Plus, a Rwandan woman is facing up to 2 years in jail for indecent dressing in public. Well, does it for this edition of the news from me, Rohibite, and the entire news team. Thanks for the pleasure of your company, and do have a pleasant night.